Oh
What
well,
happens?
that's all sins are forgiven here on whatever we're doing here. So I didn't even look at your proper title this morning, Dr. Tom Foolery, cryptology benefactor. I like that. I like that a lot. I hope everyone's doing well today. This is the after party after show, where we just talk about anything and everything, or sometimes nothing at all.
Yeah, sometimes those are the best days.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Yeah, I am. What am I doing? I'm leaving my job on Friday. Friday is my last day at one job. I'm restarting or starting my new job in about 2 weeks after that. And so that's what's big story for me
You, fi-
personally.
you figured out your new timing schedule yet?
Well, that would make sense, Dr. Tom Foolery, if I had a plan. Um, I planned. You know what I have, Dr. Tom? I have a plan for a plan. Would you like to hear my plan for a plan?
Sure. Let's
Okay.
hear this.
My plan for the plan is that I have next week totally off. No work whatsoever, except for the blog and YouTube, which, to tell you the truth, is a job. I treat it like a job, right? If you see what I do here on the channel, I treat this like a job. I've always treated blogging like a job. Even when it didn't pay me anything, I always treated it like a job. Tobin Tippleman's here. So my pre-plan for a plan is this. I'm going to have a plan next week when I have all this time to plan things out.
Hmm.
That sounds like a lot of use of the word plan, and I don't know if I'm using it properly, but that's my plan or my pre-planned plan. And so all things will be discovered. Hey, what's up, 420? Um,
G'day, guys.
I will tell you this: my big conundrum, my big problem, is that for the first 2 weeks of my new job, is that I have to go to this training from 9 to 5. So that's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, and that's going to suck up an insane amount of my schedule. So I'm going to have to figure something out. I still plan to, of course, create content because that's not even something I consider about not creating content. So I'm going to have to do something creative for those 2 weeks. And I'm on vacation too the week after next, but my girlfriend has actually, the place that we're staying in Vermont actually has a second room for me to broadcast in. So if the internet connection is good where I'm going to be staying in 2 weeks, I'll be able to broadcast. And I think the reason why she wants me to broadcast still while we're on vacation is that I am a notorious early riser. I wake up super early in the morning, and she does not. She wakes up hours after me, which I'm jealous of. People able to get a good night's sleep. I'm always up at 5:30 in the morning, quarter past. I was up at like 5:30 in the morning today, and that's a normal time for me. Sometimes it's late for me. Sometimes I get up like crazy early, and that's not good for anyone. So that's, well, you also go to bed later. That's right, the girlfriend. So I hope to my fictitious God that made sense to anyone who's listening right now about how I'm trying to muddle through work life. You know,
Hmm.
Absolutely.
oh, thanks.
I just woke up,
You just woke
so
up
I
and
have
it's
no.
what?
So I have no. It's midnight.
Did you actually just wake up like you were napping or you were down?
I just put my son to sleep at about 9 o'clock, and just woke up and shit.
Right.
I better wake up and go to bed.
Okay.
That was supposed to be a joke.
I understand. I'm
Wake up
sorry,
and
dude.
go
You
to
know
bed.
what? My ex-wife just texted me something, and I have, not that I have PTSD about my ex-wife at all, but I do have to kind of like, yeah, it wasn't anything incredibly serious there. So, um,
It definitely causes pause.
it does. Yes, 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 indeed. And there's a lot of stuff I don't talk about because I don't want to get sued. There's a lot of stuff I don't, I think if you're on YouTube or blogging or whatever, there's a lot of stuff you want to talk about, but you can't talk about because, either in your personal life or professional or on this space, because you're thinking, will that guy who does this thing that put in all those slap lawsuits years ago, will he really realize that I was the one who made all those memes about him when he was being a dickhead?
And the answer is always yes. Yes.
And that's why I don't talk about Richard Carrier. I'm sure he's mended his ways. I'm sure he has.
Right.
Oh man, just getting myself,
You sound
digging
very
myself into a
convinced.
deeper fucking pit. That's what I am this morning.
You're very good at it.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. So I got up at 5 o'clock, but it was also 3 hours after you did. So
Oh, Dave.
because the West Coast is the best coast.
Is it? Is it? Is the West Coast the best coast? Maybe in Canada, my friend. I don't know about here in the States.
Our Cheerios are actually larger than yours too.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I'm gonna
Midwest
call-
is the best
Wait,
coast.
hang on. What two cereals did you just name? Cheerios and what?
No, just Cheerios.
He said they're bigger.
Oh.
What Dave basically said was that the Canadian Cheerios is bigger than the Cheerios we get in the States, and that they also have free health insurance too. I'm gonna make you choke, Dave.
You guys have
As in
Cheerios.
The Cheerios have free health insurance?
Yes, that's exactly what. Yes, that's
By
exactly it.
eating the Cheerios, you agree to the free health insurance. Yeah. In Canada, like in the United States, you guys have Cheerios, but up here we have Cheerios.
O's. Just because you wanted to
I
have
thought
more
it would
O's
be,
than us.
Cheerio. Oh noes.
You sure it's not Cheery A?
Hey,
Ooh.
Definitely, we got to get those on the market. Yeah.
I'm going to completely steer this conversation in another direction. Tobin, I haven't seen you for a while. How's the floor doing? I have to ask you about the floor. Unless it's a sensitive topic, and if it is, then we'll just go on to back.
Oh
to
no,
Cheerios.
I got over it. I had peeled up all that part of the floor that I worked on for like an entire month, and then I sanded the floor, and I'm gonna have a nice wood floor. But yeah, I'm moving on. I built a pocket door, and I'm about to be getting into cabinets and stuff like that. Things are moving along.
Tobin, you talk about that floor like I talk about my marriage.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
just-
moved on. I just kind of like put stuff over it, and now I'm living my
Yes,
life.
yeah.
I
You're
was
a
just
wise
thinking that
man,
getting
Toby.
over a floor is better than being under it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like over here, they will throw you underneath the jail at this place.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny. He said, "The floor, I'm over it." Well, I'm glad you're not under it.
Indeed.
But yeah,
Mike's off.
All right.
So, Andy, pretty intense show there today.
I don't know how I look. I don't know how the show actually vibes with anyone else when I'm doing it, and that's just honest. I don't know. I sometimes feel like I've done a good job. Sometimes I don't know. What's up, Paul Camish? How you doing?
Hey.
And it's difficult to know whether or not I'm communicating, especially when I'm going through like a study, a scientific study, a psychological study, whether or not what I'm saying makes sense to anyone.
Yeah, I guess especially being a comedian and having that element to your entertainment, shall we call it, infotainment? What did I call it the other day on Twitter? I forgot. Anyway. There's probably times at which you have an interesting joke or comment or show where it doesn't come across as intended.
Yeah.
Like it's off on a skew in some sort of direction,
Yeah.
but it works in such a good way that it's adopted that
Dude.
well by the audience.
You've had my attention for. Have we been doing this show for a year? Have you been doing this for a year now?
I believe I have. Yeah. I mean, I was doing it with Chris for a while, and then I think I've been doing this show specifically for. It feels like a year. I'll tell you that. It feels like a year.
I'm
a
tuned
positive
in.
way.
I mean, I watched and listened to the show almost every airing. It's very rare that I actually miss it, but I'm paying attention. I'm listening. I hear a big echo. Does anybody else?
I'm hearing an echo too. So whoever's not hearing the echo is the one who is responsible for the echo, as I understand.
It's always Dave.
It makes it hard for me to talk because it throws my words off.
Well,
I start thinking about what I'm saying more for some reason. It's
I know what you're saying, Tobin. And this is only Dave has not. This has not happened with Dave in the past. This is relatively new. So, Dragons and Genesis says, "I am the echo." Are you? Are you the echo?
Did it go away when I muted, or?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pop out.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why I don't echo. I never use headphones, to tell you the truth. But yeah.
I use over the ear headsets, so very well encased for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks, Toby. Yeah. Just going back to the show and everything. Thanks for the kind words about enjoying whatever I do from 9 to 10.
Absolutely. And all the little skits and stuff like that. You introduce us to a lot of artists, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure.
Do you know what happens, Andy?
What?
Does this happen for you, Tabin? I don't know how much news you paid attention to prior, but since watching you, I found less and less and less, and now almost I don't watch any news at all.
Oh, wow.
I just get it from you.
I am very similar, Sammy.
Well, which means I have no clue what's going on in the world. I know a fair bit of what's happening in Florida.
Oh, well, Florida, yes. There's it's a lot. There's a lot coming out of Florida. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon, to tell you the truth. Dragons and Genesis says, "I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the echo that just fills your live streaming. I am Darkwing Duck."
I love that. I remember Darkwing.
I skipped over Darkwing Duck and landed right into the Batman animated series. I really glommed onto that during the 90s, which I think was incredible storytelling as well as animation.
Huh.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a look. There's some really fucking dark stories in Batman the Animated Series.
I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah,
I have. It's been a long time. I mean, that was something I think I saw as a teenager.
Yeah.
That's back there for me. But I do remember liking the animation and the style in which they presented it.
Yeah. It definitely worth your time.
I like DuckTales.
DuckTales. Scrooge McDuck.
The original, not the remake.
Right. See, Dragons and Genesis, it's funny how Jason and I have similar tastes. It's like, that was the best Batman, the animated series.
Huh. And I totally missed it. I whiffed on that one.
Well, it's still kicking around somewhere.
It has the best Joker.
Really? Oh, is that the Mark Hamill Joker? Is that
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, see, now this is nice. I have to tell you, my my crushing my crushing insecurity and self hatred cannot deal with all of this. Yeah, so I'm just gonna show it without saying it out loud. I am just
You do resemble that remark.
Well, us middle-aged white guys do look scary. I'll say that.
Are you saying that the universe is going face blind to middle-aged white guys?
I have. I really
all
have.
just
I
look
was
the
gonna
same.
say, I think just Andy.
Oh, jeez.
No, because at least when I'm out in public, there seems to be just there's different varieties of white guy heads, and you have the angry. It looks like a sack of mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
That version of like the Rush Limbaugh head. You have the Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I have that head, the Ferris Bueller's Day
Oh,
Off.
a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a certain variety of middle-aged white guy heads out there.
But, for invisibility factor, I mean, you're a 50-year-old white guy. You're of reasonable height. You're divorced. You're doing
Happily divorced.
You're doing the, like, I'm going to job change every, 5-10 years. You're surviving. You have a cat. I mean, you are the white noise in the background of society.
I'm going to make a T-shirt with that, Dave. I am the white noise. The background white noise of society.
Like, nobody gives a shit what you say. Right? It's like, oh, yeah, white guy, yeah, whatever.
Yep. Or the people who do pay attention to, it gets really confusing. And a lot of I feel conflicted a lot of the times about everything.
And I worry, Andy, you're verging on. They used to have this. I'm going to use the very loose term art form of reading the shape of people's heads.
Oh, phrenology. The phrenology, right? The bulges, right? Like if you have your head bulging in the wrong place, you're a sociopath.
Uh-oh. Mine was an injury, so,
You keep thinking that, Dave. If that helps you.
That's how I sleep at night.
Right.
Yeah, those injuries change your personality.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they
Especially
do.
when it was being dropped on your head.
I was going to say, is that from the life flashing before my face, or was that from waking up from being unconscious?
Well, if you have been quote unquote dinged, and the old sports term, right? You've been dinged, which is really
had your bell rung.
Bell rung, which is just you got a brain injury, concussion, minor closed head injury. That a lot of people don't realize inside your skull, it's knobby, it's ridges, and there's this shearing effect. So just getting like in a car accident or whenever your head goes back and forth, your head is in an encasing that has sharp edges on the inside of it, and that can cause damage.
So you're basically just kind of sanding a little bit at a time. Every time you get your bell rung, you're just sanding it down like a piece of sandpaper onto a watermelon.
And you need those folds, everyone. You need the cranial folds there. That's where the magic happens.
See,
I'm listening to what
I
you're
hear
saying.
that, and I think we had to be designed by a god. Had to.
An evil god?
Yeah. An Abrahamic god.
Of course. What it does show you is that evolution only does good enough, and it doesn't do perfect, right? There's never been enough selection pressure to actually smooth off the inside of your fucking head.
Well, I mean, come on. Now, I've rattled my brain around a bunch of times, right? I did a lot of mountain biking. I played hockey. I played football. I've been like
head banging.
A little bit of head banging. I probably sanded those bumps down pretty well, right? So
you keep thinking that, Dave. Keep thinking that. keep thinking that.
Candy.
What?
I'm having more coffee. Cheers, everybody.
Okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with more coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed my looking this way on the camera, but I'm waiting for dispatch this morning, and there's a non-zero chance that I might get dispatched today. So
Okay.
Dave, we all sit here with a list and we log each direction you look when you look it.
well, I know Andy watches me when I'm juggling, even when he's not supposed to be watching me when I'm juggling.
Well, Dave, I make sure that I tell you that I'm not paying attention to you, which probably means that I am paying attention to you somehow. That is correct, sir.
You're not distracting me. You're not distracting me. I just did.
Yes. Well, that's revenge for all the times I mispronounced the lovely country that you live in.
Thank you. Yeah, and I need to get the email for the Canardia News Network so that I can. I need just the complaints email.
Oh, right, just the complaints email.
Oh shit!
I do like it when FFRF will read off some of their hate mail or whatever. Some of that stuff is pretty good.
That's true. You know, I was looking at the one of the posts. Typically I don't read the comments on my blog because I just don't. You know, I'll look at the comments here on YouTube, but the blog, they pretty much resolve themselves. But whenever there's a blog post that goes kind of mini viral or viral, I like to look through the comment section. And the last post that did that was Chris Pratt saying he was looking for a new god. You know, that satirical post, and there was like 59 comments on it. And I'm going, yeah, this is why I don't read comments. This is the exact reason I don't read comments.
Well, and this is why the Canardia News Network, headed up by the Disappointed Cat Morning Show, has been voted #1 in North America for informagination.
Right. Well, when you think
Can we
about
call it informagication?
I like that. I like that.
Because I learn a lot.
About English, no less.
Oh man, that was one of my all-time favorite jokes by a comedian on the Just for Laughs. As the guy said, he learned as a child, his parents just stuck him in front of the TV, and he watched that cartoon show with Oscar the Grouch and all those characters. And the only problem was he was learning all those words and spelling and that, but there was no volume on the TV. So, you know, he spent the majority of his childhood learning English from Sesame Street.
Very nice.
Oh,
Was it? No, I don't think it was in your stream. It was a TikTok, I believe I saw, where it was one of those tell us something that no one would believe if you didn't have proof of it sort of thing. And there's this guy who his family were immigrants, and he basically got plopped in front of the TV at a very young age. And while his entire family was speaking their native language, he, by the age of 5 or 6, without even knowing, had learnt English completely. And one day, a relative was talking in English, and the mother said, "Oh, he doesn't understand English. You need to speak in our language." And he just turned and goes, "Oh, so this is English." and they had no clue.
Oh man, that kid was really smart.
Amazing.
If that kid was really smart, he should have played it cool. He should have just kept his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Played it out.
But he didn't understand. He didn't know there was even two languages happening, sort of thing. And
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. What's up, Digital Hammurabi?
hey.
That's my favorite subject.
Dr. Josh. Hell yeah.
Dr. Josh.
Dr. Josh, yes, I'm still reading through the book, Dr. Josh. I do have next week off, and I should be done with the book by the end of next week. Learning all. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I read.
Do you
I
read?
do.
God,
There's
I'm
been
still
so
at the
many good books
synopsis.
that have come out this year. Like I'm unable to keep up with them.
Well, it's what's difficult is once again trying to figure out the signal through the noise, right? Trying to figure out what content is worth spending your time on, because this is like a golden age for online content, for streaming content, and how are you going to spend your time? It's a difficult choice to make. I know that just not being in my car, because I would drive home from work from my overnight job, and there'd be a morning show which really helped inform me of what's going on in the world. And it's like, well, I have not been following that because I haven't been in my car at 9 o'clock in the morning. That may change now that I'm doing my overnight job in a couple of weeks. So I'll get reconnected with that. My grandson just said, Sammy looks happy. I like him. There you go, Sammy. You got a fan.
Your grandma?
Grandson.
Oh, your grandson.
Well, this is my...
I am generally a happy person, especially during the disappointed pointing cat thing.
What number should I call for stroke victims in Australia?
What are you talking about, Andy? There's nothing wrong with me.
It's well, this is my first book that I've read by Dr. Josh. Dragons and Genesis points out that the book on slavery and his guide to the Old Testament are impressive works. I'm reading through his Old Testament guide. Dave, is there any way for you to put on headphones? I keep getting bleed through. I think it's bleed through.
Oh, maybe I just have the volume up too high because I was in the other room when I was listening.
All right, that's possible. Thank you.
Is that helping?
Okay, I don't hear myself anymore.
Yeah, that's heaps better, actually.
That's good. That's good. Thanks.
Yeah, I had you cranked because I was in the kitchen making my, sorting my day out.
I feel that's some kind of self-harm when you're cranking up my voice.
At 6 a.m.? I'm sure the neighbors are like, who is that guy talking to?
Yeah.
And why does he keep saying I dear?
I dear. That's the Queen's English I'm speaking here. I just want to say that. What's up, Blazing?
We are on Tuesday, right?
I believe it's Tuesday for some of you.
It's Wednesday for you, right,
Most
Sam?
of you.
Yeah.
Indeed. The future's looking good, guys.
So, Sammy, I'm sure we're all wondering how's the mouse issue going on over there?
We tend to our news cycle. I think Australia is very, very. I don't want to use this term derogatively, but I think we're very ADD, and I haven't heard about the mice. It's still happening and probably getting worse, but they don't. It's like we get sick of hearing it. Unless there's something new, it doesn't get reported anymore. So I would say the status quo.
Which is horrible, by the way, if you've been following any of the Australian mouse infestation. The status quo is horrible. And, I was just thinking about that. As you were saying, it's like, this is why God really did 10, curses on
The plagues.
on Egypt. Because once you make the Nile River blood, people just accept it.
Yeah, you just deal with it.
It's like we stopped reporting on the Nile being blood because that's old news. There's something else going on. So that's why you have to change things up from one horrible thing to another.
Well, I don't know if you know, Andy, but there's this thing at the moment called the Olympics that some people give a shit about. I'm not one of those people.
I don't know. I'm not. No. I will say this: I've been put to sleep by the Olympics more times than not since the Olympics began. My girlfriend's like into it, and I'm like, yeah, that's great.
The
Oh.
only time I enjoyed the Olympics.
You heard
No.
that, huh? That wasn't
Shaving off
fake.
a little bit of more of that, you know.
I might just
A
lose my
few more
occipital.
knobblies just sanded down
Yeah,
another
Some
layer
personality
of your...
modification.
It's just
Well, that was-
sanded off a few more millimeters.
That was just on my right occipital lobe, so I really don't need my left field of vision that much. So that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, that would explain things.
Oh, really, Dave? Blazing says, you know,
So
the mice aren't a
what's it-
problem. Just need more cats. That's what it is.
But the feral cats are also a problem.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What eats cats? Maybe we should just keep going up.
I think you would need eagles or large birds of prey. Maybe coyotes.
We do have those.
You know, coyotes actually are quite effective in, handling cats.
Yeah,
The
coyotes.
problem with the feral cats, I don't know what happens to them genetically, but if it's the extra food source, the extra activity, but they become fucking massive.
Interesting.
And if you like Google it, there has been so many what do you call like rumors that go through society.
Conspiracy
There's
theories?
a word.
Urban myths?
No, urban myths. So
Okay.
many urban myths popping up throughout Australia that we have leopards and all these big cats in our bushland because of these feral cats are getting so big.
That's interesting.
And they're very confrontational. My dad, who used to fossick for gold, was actually sort of came face to face with one. It was sniffing around the hole that he'd been digging for the last couple of days. And he said he just grabbed his like sort of axe out the back of his ute and he started walking down towards the hole. And he said this thing looked up at him and just stood there. And my dad had this moment of, hang on, what the hell am I doing? And quickly got back in his ute and started it up, and it ran off.
Nice.
Dude, they
He said
don't
this thing
play
was
it like
huge. It would have killed him.
So Australia's
And we don't
evolving its
have-
own species.
Because we don't have any large cats. There's, unless the odd illegal pet has been released, but that's not enough for all the sightings that we have of these giant cats. So,
But like a cat that went there, like if we sent you a bunch of bobcats and mountain lions, a couple of container loads of them, they wouldn't last long because they don't have fear of snakes, right? They come from an area where they see a snake, they eat a snake, right? So I don't think they'd last long there anyway.
I just thought of something funny. I'm writing it down, and it's marsupial cats. I know that there are like some marsupials that look like cats in the past, but cats with pouches, I think, it just strikes me as funny. I'm going to write it down. Cats with pouches in Australia. Might go on the blog. I don't know.
From couch cat to pouch cat.
Yeah, that's right. There we go.
Jeez.
Blazing says, when I was in Australia, I was the largest cat there. Impressive.
Yeah. I've been on a hike where we're walking. I believe we were out by Whistler Village, and we're walking down a trail, and all of a sudden somebody happens to notice that there's a large cat watching us from a tree nearby. And you're like, okay, well, now that we've seen him, he won't attack us. Everybody face him while we walk down the trail. So we're like doing the like turn sideways as you walk sort of thing going around the cat. And it just sat there and watched us walk up the trail. But yeah, if you have a small child, you know, lagging behind in your group, they're definitely in danger.
This
It
is
is
why
wild. Just like a small domestic cat, like, and you see one laying on the ground, and you go to pet the belly of the cat, and then they just all four legs and mouth just like latch onto you. That shit sucks. Just with one of those little domestic cats, I couldn't imagine
I
having
will
a bigger one.
I will say that growing up playing Dungeons and Dragons has paid off in so many ways in my life.
If I've shared a screen there, Andy, if you just flick it on for 2 or
What do we
3
got, man?
seconds, some people might not like it because
Wow.
it is dead, but
That's a big cat.
there's an example, and you can see it just looks like a house cat, but they are just becoming massive.
Odd. That is odd.
It is odd.
Yeah.
But I guess, see, they're losing their domesticatedness.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just reverting.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
become
cats are
feral.
Yeah. I mean, cats are they're not as domesticated as, let's say, dogs are, right? I mean, so the only thing that, as I play with my cat and I pick my cat up, the only reason why the cat's not killing me by accident, maybe, is because the cat is so much smaller than I am. Yeah. One of my brothers was attacked by a bobcat. He deserved it, though. Was he provoking the bobcat? Dragons in Genesis.
The bobcats are quite fierce,
Yeah.
but they're not large. They can cut you up, and you know, if they hit an artery, you can be in some serious trouble. But the cougars will actually bite you on the throat and suffocate you.
Well, that's the
I'm trying to find it, but there's a picture of Metro Vancouver, and there's a big yellow sign on the post by the walking trail, and it says "Caution Cougar in Area."
Yeah.
And the cougar is sitting under the sign.
That's funny. That's funny. My girlfriend and I, we were out.
So,
oh, go ahead.
will they try and eat you? Will a cougar want to eat you?
A small
Whereas
child.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas I imagine bobcat would be more defensive and then run off. Like attack you and then get out rather than just.
I think a lot of animals are, even like the larger predators and stuff, like just don't really want to fuck with us unless we're in some kind of like cornering situation where they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
most stuff does not want to mess with us. Like whenever I go looking I for animals, I have to like be very cautious about my noise and how I'm moving around, because then you're just gonna scare everything off.
Yeah, be very, very quiet. Tobin's hunting rabbits.
Well, don't come to Australia. In Australia, the first thing we say is make lots of effing noise. You want everything to know you're coming and to get out of your way. You don't want to be surprised by anything.
If you've ever watched Les Stroud on Survivor Man, he always takes his harmonica with him. And when he's deep in the woods, he plays his harmonica because it's an unfamiliar noise. And when he did the one in British Columbia, you know, if you surprise a bear, like when we're mountain biking down a hill, we're going quickly down the hill. The bear can't run downhill to get away from us fast enough. So we are going to catch up to the bear. But if you were walking down that trail playing a harmonica, the bear would leave the trail if it heard a harmonica coming down the hill.
Dave, do you specifically go down trails that have bears on them?
All the trails have bears on them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you drive 2 hours out of Metro Vancouver and you're on a trail, you'll find bear scat, depending on the time of the year, obviously. In the winter, they're hibernating or, you know, whatever, doing their bear thing. But in springtime and in the fall when they're feeding up, they're all over the place.
So Dragons says that his brother had hit it with the animal attacked by a bobcat. So his brother had shot the bobcat with a BB gun.
Oh,
And, the cat ruined his jeans, his shirt, and his weekend. I can see that. That's kind of a dick move, though,
So-
shooting a bobcat with a BB gun.
Definitely.
Are you
Well-
telling me that it sounds to me like God has designed this earth to you have the option of lots of little things that will kill you, or you can go somewhere where there's just a few big things that will kill you. Or if you don't like those options, you can go somewhere where the environment will kill you.
Yeah.
And that's your options.
you know the old joke about the bells, like you got to wear bells when you're walking on a trail so that the bears can hear you, and they'll leave, they'll go away.
Right.
And if you have to keep your eye out for signs of bears where they scratch the trees or where they rub against the trees, you'll see the bear fur, or where they poop, you'll see the bear scat. And it's really easy to identify because there's usually bells in it from where they've pooped it out.
I was going to say, all I'm thinking is Pavlov's dog as you're telling this story.
You threw that in at the end, Dave. I like it. I liked it a lot.
It's like, are these bears just learning to listen for the bells?
That's where the food is.
Well, and that's why a lot of people carry a 22 with them when they go out into the woods or whatever. Or in the United States, you guys have high powered. We talked about the air rifles the other day with Paul, was it? And
Yep.
and their rifles go much, much faster than ours. In the United States, you guys go up to, I think, 1,470 feet per second, and ours are only 800. So if you're shooting a bobcat in British Columbia with an 800 foot per second and it's far away, you're pissing it off.
Yeah.
Which is good, because if you hit it in the ass, it'll probably run away.
Sure.
But if you corner it and shoot it, it has nowhere to go except through you.
Yeah, that's
So
bad.
you have to be mindful about what you're doing out there. But a lot of people carry a 22 because if you shoot a bear and you skim it, or you tag it in the ass, it'll run away because it feels like it got bit by something from behind, but it's not going to kill the bear. Right. And most people don't go out with a rifle to go hiking or fishing or whatever, planning on killing a bear. But they will protect them. You have to protect yourself against such incidents, right?
I just want to say, Cryptomeria, I've seen Maiden in concert. Awesome. They're great band.
Yeah.
Dragon says cougars have attacked adults. Bike riders in California are always on the news for cougar attacks. That's not good. And the girlfriend says that's why we sing badly when hiking in the Rockies.
Yeah.
All of this seems to be an infomercial for Andy not going out of the city limits, to tell you the truth. That's what this is.
Oh,
Well,
no, the bears
there's
will come
also
into town.
cougars on the prowl in bars, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I see what you did.
There's a
just
very famous
figured out
video of a
why-
woman not too far from here who came down the trail and saw a cougar and just yelled at it to, tell it to get out of the way, and it ran away. I can't.
What were you
find
going to say, Sammy?
I'm just wondering if I just had a little window into your mind, Andy. I've always wondered what your fascination with New Zealand was, but I think I now know you're just scared of Australia. New Zealand is the safe Australia, isn't it, Andy? Come on.
And to tell you the truth, I've been talking ever since you said that Tasmania is Australia's New Zealand. I'm thinking maybe Tasmania too.
Too cold for the
Well,
snakes, Andy.
Too cold?
Yeah,
I can accept that.
The thing about New Zealand is it's pretty windy. Like Wellington, New Zealand is supposed to be the windiest place on earth, to the point that they can't actually put up like wind towers to harness the electricity, because they would end up like the range of the wind down there and the high speed of the wind. They literally have to fold the things up and put them away when it got really windy down there.
Oh.
My buddy said he had to go rescue his kids because they were walking to school in Wellington and the wind picked up and they all got pinned to the chain link fence and he had to go pull them off the fence and put them in the car.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Gary Priestley says Tasmania is the best way to Australia. I hope the girlfriend is listening. See, we have testimonial right here. Tasmania is the best way to Australia.
I think the safest place in Australia is the most desolate place because there'd be less creatures there, less creatures overall. So probably less creatures that would want to hurt you.
There is a reason for that, though. It's like the 50 degrees Celsius plus temperatures and the lack of water and
Yeah.
So
but you'd be safe.
You're saying
from the
just
creatures.
at that point, Australia is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Geographically.
That's why we only occupy the very, very outside edges of it.
Yeah. Well, we're the same in Canada. Like, what is it? 59% of our population lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border.
Yeah. Well, that's going to change over time, right? With global warming
And the
with
wall.
climate crisis. I am
Once we get that ice wall in place. Yeah. Well,
to the ice wall, right? You see, we've already outsmarted you by like melting everything, Dave.
yeah, we should have built an ice bridge and then you'd have melted it and gone, oops.
Yeah. That is correct. That is correct.
Oh man.
Gary Priestley says, if our regressive government won't, the climate or fauna will kill you. Very nice, right?
Are you from Western Australia, Gary? Or maybe up north? Or is he just talking about our federal government? Either way, they all suck. So it applies either way.
Is
So
there a
what-
country that is comfortable with their government?
Oh, Sydney, same as me. And our government, oh my God.
I've heard that I was reading an article in The Economist the other day, and it seems like Belgians are quite happy with their government, though it's somewhat disunified, and from an outsider, it's chaotic. But I think Belgium, just off the top of my head, Belgians seem to be happy with their country.
May I, please, just for a moment?
Uh-oh. I can see it coming.
Danger.
For years, while I was in the church, I would say, oh my God. When I left the church, I would type, oh my God, GAWD. Oh my God. Or I'd say, oh, your God. But I think we have to take God out of the equation. As atheists, we owe it to ourselves and the people around us, and to normalize atheism, if Randolph's watching. I think we have to say, oh, my reality.
Oh my!
I got a
I
personal
like it.
relationship with reality.
I like to go with "Oh my fictitious God." That's my personal choice.
Yeah, I like that, Andy. I definitely pick up on.
Yeah.
I'm still deciding. I go between that, which I picked up from you, Andy. It is a good one, but it is very jarring.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to be a bit more subtle, I'll say, "Oh, your God,"
Yeah.
instead of "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Especially if you know the person is religious.
Oh, right. Yeah. I tone my shit down when I'm in public. Definitely. I turn down the volume a lot.
See, I don't have one of those dials.
I know you don't, Dave. I know you don't. You're like shooting from the hip. Oh my Godzilla, dragons. That's right. Oh my Godzilla.
I like that too, yeah.
And "Oh my dog"
Oh
is
my
good
God.
too.
Yeah. I hear you. All good. Oh my groinial attachment.
That's weird.
What?
That is. Ooh.
I don't mind Jesus Herbert Christ either. People say
Jesus
Jesus H
Herbert.
Christ.
You know what? I'm in a personal conundrum in that, and I don't even know if it's a conundrum, to tell you the truth, everyone, because you know, and I don't like to talk a lot about my personal life as much as, I mean, I do, obviously, but my birth mother sent me this image saying that talking about mothers, and she never stops worrying about her children and never stops praying for them.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah. I have difficulty with church people quite regularly. And this week, my church people moment. Let's throw that banner up somewhere. Church people moment. There was a person who I work with who was assaulted. Not I was about to say not harmfully, but all assault is harmful.
Yeah.
They were essentially grabbed and kissed at work by a complete stranger during COVID on the face. So I know. So I told a Christian friend of mine about this story. We just happened to be having lunch later that day. And I said, yeah, I heard about this person and this thing happened. And the RCMP were called, those are our police up here, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police were called, and they had to chase this guy down and grab him and arrest him.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, they chased a guy down because he kissed somebody?
He kissed a complete stranger at work on the mouth during COVID. There's 100 things wrong with that.
Yes. Okay, so they went after him for a good reason.
So it's there is a statute in Canada about endangering somebody during COVID. This is considered endangerment, not to mention sexual assault in the workplace. There's lot. There was a list.
Yeah.
So I told this Christian person about this incident, and their response was, well, that used to happen to me all the time. Back in the 70s, that was normal.
Yeah.
And I had to take, I guess, lever, dial, whatever you call it, and I had to pull it back to the point where I didn't say, are you fucking serious?
No, dude, I can see that.
Because what I said to them is, this is a person who's much younger than us, who grew up in a different time than us, who isn't familiar with that sort of behavior, who wasn't watching it on TV every day, who wasn't taught to accept that in the church, who wasn't taught by their parents to accept it around friends.
Yes.
This is a person who grew up in a very, very different time, who was traumatized by a complete stranger while in the workplace. And regardless of what happens to you in the 1970s, both were wrong.
Yes.
And both need to be recognized, and both incidents are equally as bad.
Yes.
Right?
My brain just instantly went
like, well, me too. This whole like, well, it happens to everyone, like just dismissive of it. Like, well, that's how things are. It sickened me.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. What are you gonna say, Sammy?
Slavery was legal once.
Yeah.
That's
that was
the
a good response, Dave.
logic.
Yeah, like if you told somebody about somebody who was child trafficked, and they said, well, in some places prostitution's legal, and in some places slavery still happens. So, like, no.
Yeah. It is and it's like, I'm sorry that ever happened to you. I'm sorry that that happened to you.
And I'm sorry you're so okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the bigger
That's
issue
right.
right there is you shouldn't be okay with it. You shouldn't be okay with it happening to you or anyone else.
But you can see the whole wretched cycle right there. The priming,
Well,
the abuse.
I was about to say these
dude.
people then go and have children themselves.
Yeah, you see the whole wretched fucking cycle. And once again, the reason why Christianity has become defanged mostly over time isn't because of Christianity. It's because of the Enlightenment. It's because of all these outside forces working on Christianity, making it kinder and gentler. And it's overall, right? We're not hanging witches in the public square anymore, more or less here, at least in the West. And that's because of because of the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Right. It is getting. We are influencing the way that teach things in church. I do think.
Mm.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Tobin, because you can see it even within our own lifetimes that churches will take credit for things that they were fighting against,
Yes.
50 years ago,
Yeah.
60 years
Oh,
ago.
my church with the whole allowing women to participate in the clergy and allowing same-sex marriages. Oh, there was a celebration for weeks about how they had adopted that and what a wonderful change. Yeah. What about the last 25, 30, 40 years? What about that?
Yeah.
Did you not remember that? Is that a short-term memory thing? Like,
Yeah, selective memory, Dave. That's selective memory, my friend.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to
Yeah.
start wrapping up the show because I got to go do work stuff. Well, this has been a great conversation again.
And a great
Thank you.
show today.
No, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go back and watch the show, Andy.
Okay, I'm not unhappy to hear that. How's that?
Get that view time up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to tell you the truth, it's good for the algorithm, right? I mean, in terms of people watching the show,
Yeah.
and so it helps new people to watch the show. So that definitely helps, and I appreciate it.
And Andy, just quick question before you go. How's your head?
It's fine.
It's
It's
fine.
fine, Dave. Thank you, because I did give it a good whack here. This is the problem of not working with a green screen.
It sounded
It's-
solid.
Here in Studio A, this is real. If I was in Studio B upstairs, I would just be smacking my head up against the green screen right now. So I guess that's a benefit of Studio B.
Should we have like Green Screen Tuesday? Should we do a thing?
That might be, if I keep effing hitting my head up against the bookcase, then something's going to happen.
Well, in your giant castle there, you probably have room to move away from the bookcase a little.
Oh
bit.
yeah. I got this palatial mansion here. I can just move over by the drawbridge or the parapet, or the moat, and
Just tell the dragon to move over a bit.
tomorrow I will broadcast from the Great Hall.
Biscuit the giant orange dragon. Nice.
Right. All right, everyone in the chat, thanks for showing up. Lurkers, watchers, observers, thanks. We're doing the same crazy thing tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? So take care.
Hooray.
Later.